or some of their tanks. We know Fnatic are not necessarily going to trend towards the Mundo and the Shyvana, at least they haven't in the past. So it actually gives Millennium a little bit more breathing room. I think they can say, well, we sort of can get our hands on those powerful picks, but then you have to say, how do Fnatic respond? They've used Trundle, they've used Shen, there are options available.
So what will it be? Will it be Mundo for Kevin in the top lane? Will they maybe think, should we allow the Renekton Shyvana through? Will Fnatic actually go for that? Because they baited themselves. They baited their opposition into it yesterday. It was SK Gaming.
SK, yeah. The one thing that can work, or that is going to be interesting about the other lanes, is the mid laners. No ban on Ziggs, no ban on Gragas, and I think
no ban on Yasuo.
Both of those could be going that route. So we'll see how they decide to lock it in. And interestingly, Araneae is going back to Lee Sin. He's going back to the champion that he really was quite famous for in the summer split of last year. Has an even, I think it was 2-2 win record with him for the last split. Not Vi. I think maybe Millennium were anticipating that if they picked Vi, Fnatic in a counter.
Yeah, they must have some sort of counter for it. See if it works. Lee Sin was, like you say, what he made popular back in the summer. Pulled it back, even when Diamond wasn't even playing it. Managed to bring it back there. sOAZ and Cyanide. Will we see Vi being picked up against Araneae?
So Cyanide has also played Vi in the past. Cyanide, I think Cyanide's one of the most versatile junglers in terms of the champions he can play, because we see him doing a lot of picks. It's a trend that most of Fnatic have. It hasn't been locked in yet, but if the wild growth does get locked in with it, that's a very nice initiation. You have the assault and battery to follow through. Once people are getting knocked aside, you can knock them up into the air. And because you've got multiple knockups, this may even be a Yasuo bait. Because my first instinct is knock up on Lulu, knockups with Vi, knock up into Yasuo, it could be there. So Millennium now have some extra juicy things to think about.
Well, it also works. Obviously, Cyanide dives in, gets the knock up, then you knock everyone back up, but once again, like you say, there's a lot of abilities there. Nami is a potential. We've seen Jree playing a multitude of supports. I don't think we're going to see Fiora. If we do, then I think Greg Sky Williams might actually be tweeting in a rage.
Yeah, he would probably be losing it, as it were. But no, not going to be the case. Instead, we're going to see a safe pick from Millennium. This is the smart thing to do. You leave your solo laners until you've got a better idea of what Fnatic are doing. And because Millennium have not picked in a mid laner or a top laner right now, this puts Fnatic now on the back foot. They have the option to go for the likes of, hell, you could put Wukong top and you can put Yasuo in the mid, and you've got a million knockups and a very good engage. That's a massive amount of damage that could come down from press R compositions. But I'm just theorizing now. I don't really know if they're going to go that route.
And I'm a little interested to see what that top lane will be, because Shyvana, Renekton, Dr. Mundo, all still on the cards, and yet no one going for them 5 picks in. Could this be a first sign of a turn between the European teams to think, okay, these really aren't that much of a first pick anymore?
I think it's more of a case of just these two particular teams.
Yeah.
I think Fnatic, they don't trend towards those types of champions. It's not really their favorites. So it's allowed them, and in fact, it's going to be LeBlanc. So not going to be the Assassin of Yasuo, but it is going to be LeBlanc. And I have not been impressed by the LeBlanc plays we've seen so far.
Well, LeBlanc on Peke, that's something I am excited to see, because I like seeing Peke on Assassins. I've said this before, same with Alex 6. Any mid laner, honestly. I don't like the farm-heavy champions that they do sometimes go with. I like to see the explosive battles. It's what I like as a play-by-play caster. No surprise there. But look at it! Yasuo is locked in at last.
That's going to be top lane Yasuo. So this is actually very interesting, because with the exception of maybe Dragon's Rage kick and a tidal wave, there may be a lot more pressure on Kevin to land these. No, I've heard this is going to be top lane Gragas. This is going to be top lane Gragas. This is something Deficio has been talking to me about. Millennium play tank Gragas in the top lane, have been doing it in scrims, and it's going to be Kerp playing Yasuo in the mid lane. And if it's not, then I've been baited by Deficio, but I'm pretty sure that's the way it'll end up.
Well, he's in there right now. We'll see whether he switches around. Don't forget, I've heard Araneae also plays it in the jungle, so it's another interesting one. Remember, Insect did that at the All-Stars in Shanghai last time, but it is going to be Renekton in the top lane. That was the final choice for sOAZ, so sOAZ going with those tanky top laners.
So Fnatic sticking with a little bit more of a traditional comp, dare I say it. Assassin in the mid, Renekton up top. They've got strong initiation with Vi and Lulu, and to be honest, it's a bit boring. Millennium Gragas top lane. This is going to be full tank, right? Now, what Deficio has been telling me from how Kevin plays it, he doesn't put any points at all into his barrel roll, does go for, no, sorry, body slam. He maxes his barrel roll and his damage reduction on his Drunken Rage. Gets a lot of items up, pops the Drunken Rage, flashes into a team fight, and literally just uses utility. Slows people with his body slam, knocks people away with his ultimate. And if that spreads people up a little bit, Yasuo, being played by Kerp, can dive in there and kill them. And I hope it works away because it's going to be hell of exciting.
We've also got, obviously, the Lee Sin kick, the Nami bubble, a lot of items.
Bubble, as well as
the
tidal
wave, the tidal wave going across. There's a lot of options available for Yasuo. We'll see if it works. This is his first game. I'm excited to see it. And it is time to see what you guys at home voted for. The team with the most thumbs up by a landslide, shock horror, is Fnatic at 90% to the 10% on Millennium. It was 96 yesterday, I believe.
93, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember 93 and 7, but I've missed a few of the losses. That's a big vote.
That's a big, big vote, especially against Millennium. This is a team that had a lot of momentum coming into this game, and as we move into the Rift, well, what are we expecting to see from these two teams? Are we expecting any early aggression? We haven't yet seen a level 1 fight.
We have to see roaming. I mean, Millennium has to move around. They need the utility and the knockups of the rest of the team to help Yasuo out. It's going to be so difficult explaining what Yasuo does, but I'll try my best as we see the abilities. And I think if we can see Kevin and Kerp working together, pushing down dragons and roaming across the map, it is a very scary combination. And they've also got an immense amount of mobility on the side of Millennium as well.
So, Millennium starting out as the blue side on your screens, followed by Fnatic as the red teams. Pings are plenty, and all of them, for the top here, Trevor, they are all going in 5 members.
You made a special request for level 1 as we're getting, saying there's no level 1 fights, and right now, I think Millennium have read this. Millennium are going to know Fnatic, they're going to see each other, and that was very lucky. They will have seen one another's position, so if Millennium do not stay grouped up, Fnatic can challenge for this blue buff, which is what I think they're going to do, and that can put the back. Kevin's dead.
Kevin! Face check in the bush. The leash comes out from xPeke. It's going to be just about enough. The Ignite will take you down. Who do they want to give it to? That's the question. They're not going to allow him get away. They had to flash for it, Cyanide. 2
flashes as well. xPeke followed suit. He got closed the gap for a second. We thought he was going to survive. I have no idea.
Away. Big Gragas, but no, yeah, no idea. Not going to happen for him. Ignite was used in there as well. Who was that? So that was 3 summoner spells burnt for that kill. And they were clearly must have been trying to set it up for Rekkles, but he just couldn't seem to get a shot.
I've just rewinded the replay on my PC. They are 100% sure they spotted Fnatic. Millennium knew about Fnatic's position. The one thing is, sOAZ was the only one that was spotted. So Kevin may have anticipated, it's only Renekton. It's only Renekton, it's only sOAZ. I can check this. And unfortunately, history has proven otherwise, as it were. Millennium give up their first blood. Unfortunate that it was Kevin as well. He's usually such a solid player. This may put him a little bit on tilt.
Well, he's on that Gragas. It's a unique pick for the top lane as it is, and we'll see whether it does work out for him. It does seem that it's going to be a 2v1 situation because we do see Rekkles and YellOwStaR going up towards the top. xPeke immediately getting aggressive combo by Kerp. And Trevor, we're going to start talking about that middle lane straight away because Yasuo up against LeBlanc, it's an interesting one immediately.
So the first thing I want to touch on right now, Jree trying to steal or interrupt Cyanide's blue. A little bit difficult. What we've seen from Kerp diving onto LeBlanc, he was using his E spell. It's the Sweeping Blade. Now it's a 0.5 second cooldown, and it allows you to dash to any target once every 10 seconds. That will get down as you level it up. And it progressively stacks damage up to about double after 4 stacks. So what you'll see Kerp doing is dashing through minions to hit champions multiple times over and over and over. And you actually just seen there him in the mid lane getting his passive. That's a little shield that he gets from his flow bar, which he actually stacks from moving around the map.
And there is the Steel Tempest leveled up. He's going to try and get some poke on with that one. But xPeke didn't get the first blood, but despite the fact he flashed for it, that's miscommunication, I feel, from the two. They were just like, holy, he's going to get away. Everybody go for it. Quickly panic in there. There is the Q working in action. That is the Steel Tempest. So 3 hits of that, that's when the Whirlwind comes out.
That's it. And you can actually do 2 different things with that. You can throw out a skill shot, basically Howling Gale, or you can spin and knock people up while dashing with your E. We do see Araneae has snuck himself in, and xPeke is going to be in a little bit of trouble.
He's going to get taken low. Will his mirror splits off? Who will they go for? Will it be the right one? No, it won't. Araneae was fooled.
The clone from Peke's passive was enough to pull them away. I was looking if Ignite had been used, and it had not. There's the knockup. Peke should be able to survive. There's not enough damage.
The Ignite comes in. It's not enough damage. Sidesteps the Q. He's going to force the tower damage. It's not going to be enough on Araneae. There's no jungler nearby.
Very well played, I think, by Araneae and Kerp. They actually hesitated on the flashes, waiting for the call. And I think Araneae said, I'm going in, I'll tank. And they managed to make it work. We do see a gank here from Cyanide trying to put Kevin even further behind. He hasn't even touched a minion right now. 0 CS to his name, as Fnatic deny even more CS by allowing it to die to the tower.
Lots of pressure. You talked about how he doesn't really build up the slam, and as it stands, he had to go for it because he tried to dash away with it, and that's what's caused him problems. He's only just got those barrels to try and throw it out, but it sounds like actually, judging by the guzzling, he hasn't actually gone for it. So he's gone with the Drunken Rage instead. So he's still not got the barrels, which is why he's got no CS.
Cannot farm with it. I think he needs to deviate from his strategy a little bit. I'm trying to remember the specifics of how Deficio was telling me it worked. And the basic premise is that he's a different version of Malphite, effectively. A low cooldown on that exploding cask is going to allow them to continually knock people around. We do see that now Araneae is once again trying to set up a gank. We talked about how his style is very heavily gank situated, but sOAZ is fully aware he's there. sOAZ is sticking around at this tower. He's not expecting the dive right now.
Now gets the stun down Araneae, and actually Jree took a tower hit before it even began, which immediately caused some problems. Top tower does go down. Fnatic have struck first with First Blood, and now with that first tower, giving them that small gold advantage. But they are keeping here. sOAZ is not backing off. He's all on his own. There's no help for him here.
Yeah, there's definitely a focus from Millennium to get the tower. They realize that Creaton or Lulu is going to move to the bottom lane and try to defend this once they're done pushing, because they haven't stopped yet. That's a 3-man Fnatic moving towards the top in a turret. And unless Millennium rotates Kerp's Yasuo there, they should be able to pick a lot of damage off that tower as well.
Well, the Pixie turning Kevin into a tiny little squirrel.
A munchkin.
A munchkin, whatever you'd like to call it. He mentioned Tiny. It's going to be Kerp and Peke going aggressive. The leash is going to land. It's going to stun him up, and he's not going to follow through. Instead, now Kerp just dashes in. This is going to be such an explosive one. I'd love to see the cameraman's face when this starts kicking off.
I'd like to see your face when it starts kicking off. I wish you the best of luck keeping track in him. Now, I would like to see Kerp use that Steel Tempest while dashing with his Sweeping Blade, the E, because he does actually knock everybody up in a circular radius around him. And his ultimate can only be targeted on people that are airborne or basically off the ground. sOAZ now, he's roamed around, has left that bottom tower thanks to Rekkles and YellOwStaR moving in to defend. And if Kerp gets caught, he's not going to. Great usage of Wind Wall. First time we're seeing it, it blocks all projectiles that go through it. It includes skill shots, it includes auto attacks. The only thing that's not blocked is tower hits.
Yeah, so that ace in the hole may well get blocked off quite a lot late on with that Wind Wall. I'm expecting to see no going to make too much of that through. sOAZ, though, he's gone back to base. He's going to head in towards that top lane, gets himself a Doran's Blade on Renekton and the Ruby Gem.
So a little bit of additional HP, going to be dealing with that sort of tanky Gragas up top. And you talked about how the Wind Wall can block ace in the hole. Vi is not a projectile. And my point with this is, once Vi sticks to somebody with Assault and Battery, Wind Wall is not going to interrupt it. How the super hot crew dealt with Meet Your Maker's Yasuo was by picking Xin Zhao, who throws himself through the wall. So similar type of champion pick to get around that very, very powerful ability.
Araneae coming around the backside here. He's going to come into the wolves, finds out Cyanide is there, gets the wolves down as well and forces Cyanide away. I thought he maybe will come around the backside of Peke, but instead he is going to head round towards that blue buff.
Yeah, I definitely think the original intention was to go for a gank, but didn't work out for them. Now with a 2-man on blue, they should pick this up. Smite is not available for Cyanide either, so we should see Araneae stealing it away. He does secure it. Now they're in a little bit of trouble. Great Dragon's Rage back.
Assault and Battery was used. Quickly Dragon kicks him straight back. Rekkles wants Araneae though, and now they realise they're in trouble. It's a 4-on-4 down this bottom lane. Kerp though putting the damage down. Can Peke get on towards the support of Jree? No, there's a lot of damage going back and forth, and it's Millennium on the back foot here. They're going to get the Glitter Lance, not quite catching. Piltover comes across, only on Jree. Great Steel Tempest, knocks them all back.
Yeah, Kerp throwing out that knock-up. I think Fnatic were aware of the potential of being knocked in the air and jumped on by that final breath. Unfortunately, with all the damage that Millennium have now taken, Fnatic should be able to secure themselves their second tower of the game, and they're going to extend their gold lead to around 2,000.
Yeah, the double wave came in just at the right time because Fnatic were already pushing the lane down. Like you say, Siege Minion in there. That will be second turret going down. That's going to stretch that gold lead that Fnatic are already grouped. Kevin finds sOAZ, comes around that forest wall, does manage to catch a good stun on towards him, slice and dice across him. He doesn't have enough damage, neither of them do, but Kevin again in trouble, and it's Dragon now for Fnatic.
Very good play by sOAZ. He actually sliced and diced through the body slam. Araneae's going to try steal. It's very low. He may be able to get it, not if he's a munchkin, and he can't follow through.
Oh, and he just didn't have the Q there. That was a very, very good munchkin.
Great timing from Fnatic. The team fight that they won picked him up a tower and a dragon. They're extending their gold lead quite significantly right now. And I want to touch on this Kevin Gragas right now. We talked in the beginning how he's not going to level up those barrels, his Q, and he's sticking to it. He's got 3 ranks in his drunken range, his W, and only 2 points in the body slam of his E. So with him being level 6, I'm now anticipating Kevin to roam a little bit more, get more involved with the Araneae ganks, because I think Araneae has done about 5 or 6 ganks already at the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, he's got them boots of mobility, like I say, wants to get in there. Meanwhile, of course, thinking about how they're building, there's not a lot of ability power to worry about. If Kevin is going to go tanky, this could well be a problem for Millennium come late game.
Yeah, with the fact that almost all of the damage is going to be centered around armor-based champions like Lee Sin, Yasuo, and Lucian, Fnatic are going to be able to just prioritize armor. Now, Kerp could get jumped on. A little careful. The one thing to also remember about Yasuo's ultimate is after he throws down the final breath, he gains 50% armor penetration on bonus armor. So it makes it actually very powerful against teams that stack an immense amount of armor themselves.
We do see Araneae coming around, Cyanide having to back away from this one once again. He did have Smite available, but didn't want to get baited into it this time because potentially they're setting up for something. We'll see whether it's going to be the red buff because that's just around the corner. It is spawned up there. And I think that's maybe what they're going to go. Another great win wall from Kerp.
That blocked both the Sigil of Silence as well as the Chains of Distortion there from xPeke, just preventing both of them to hit. And if you can interrupt that burst combo, LeBlanc's not very scary at all. So very good play, but it is a high cooldown. 24 seconds or so in the early stages of the game, so you've got to be very careful. Kerp now's in a little bit of trouble.
Leash doesn't find Kerp. He's got that whirlwind available, which is already used, and now sOAZ is going to go straight in towards him. Stun comes out, Cyanide Assault Battery follows through, gets the knockback, has to try and jump away, flashes away, he's going to get stunned once again from sOAZ any moment. Now Kevin's going to have to use that explosive caster, backwards, didn't work out, but nevertheless, Kerp will walk off.
So very lucky there by Kerp to have the assistance of Kevin. Kevin forced to use that explosive cast very defensively, and now Creaton almost getting caught by YellOwStaR and Rekkles. He's keeping up in CS, but it's YellOwStaR and Rekkles that are determining the tempo of this lane, keeping Millennium defending against their tower.
And in fairness, you know, we've been talking about this amazing partnership down the bottom. Not a lot of action from them just yet. 94 CS to 84 CS. Creaton has fell behind, but remember, it was a 4-man push down that bottom, so no surprise there.
And I think part of the reason for that is the champion pick. Because they've got a Caitlyn and a Lulu who can do a lot of damage, you know, pushing waves quite quickly with the Glitzer Lance and the Piltover Peacemaker. That's a fast push duo, if I can, you know, coin that phrase. And I think they got the top tower, they got the bottom tower, and they've got a dragon. Yes, they're not exactly flashy with all the kills, but they haven't died yet, and they've got a lot of objectives for their team, so it's working in their favor.
It's just dawned on me that the speed that he's pulling that wind wall out, he's doing it with a trackball, guys.
Yeah, we're going to keep saying that throughout this, well, forever. As long as Kerp is playing, he's doing all of these little tips and tricks with that trackball. Once again, Peke going in. A little bit of the damage has been blocked by the wind wall. So 2 things to note in terms of build. Yasuo will prioritize some critical hit. His passive also gives him double critical hit chance. So Static Shiv into Infinity Edge is the standard build, if I can use that term loosely, but we haven't seen it in professional play, so we'll see how Kerp decides to itemize further.
Yeah, as it is, it's almost certainly going to be the Static Shiv, I feel. He's got that Avarice Blade in there already. Peke, again, on LeBlanc, I was about to say, hasn't seen too much from him. Has to flash away there. Kerp's getting caught, stunned down. He's going to get locked up there. The tower's going to be traded very nicely. Araneae picks it up, and that's going to be the kill for Kerp.
Very good play. Kerp was tanking the initial tower shots, and once he became untargetable while he's flying through the air like only a Highway Noon Samurai can, he manages to block it, and it's actually Araneae that took the last couple of shots. So a very good combo, and you've seen how it worked. Even though Kerp failed his knockup, that's exactly what happened. It was Aranea's kick that allowed Kerp to jump onto him. So 2 kills for Yasuo in his inaugural appearance in the LCS.
And again, This is another LeBlanc that has not impressed me. This time Peke is having a chance at it, and it doesn't seem to be working. Obviously, it must be something they're practicing solo queue, but solo queue is not the LCS. It doesn't always work there.
No, I've got to be a little bit careful. Assault and battery onto Kerp.
Assault and battery, don't think they have enough damage, and I think he's got far enough away. Or do they? Kerp taken solo, dashes away, tries to pull him back. I'm not too sure where he's thinking of going. Throws out the Steel Tempest, but again, not going to be able to get away from that one. Not sure why he came away from the turret there.
He was trying to be a little bit cheeky with the wind wall because it blocks multiple projectiles. But a Renekton and a Vi don't have projectiles, so the wind wall didn't really work in his favor. Also remember that his dash, that E, it takes you a set distance. So if you are standing right in front of a target and you dash through him, you'll overshoot him as YellOwStaR gets hooked.
YellOwStaR caught in the Aqua Prison. Isn't going to be enough damage from Creaton? No, it's not. But it is a good burst, and that's going to keep them on their back foot for a short period of time. Blue buff given across to Peke. We'll see whether that helps him out in the lane phase.
Well, want to highlight the Kevin right now. Still 0 points in that barrel roll. He is working his way towards a Sunfire Cape. And, you know, Julian, he's now basically a mega tank. It's Gragas that has utility, and we'll see how this works because there is a lot of damage that can come out from Yasuo, but he has to hit multiple targets with that ultimate of his. So a lot of pressure on using Final Breath at the right time.
And there's a lot of pressure on Kevin because Dr. Munda was available, Shyvana was available, they weren't chosen. He went with the Gragas pick, so this is a lot of scrutiny going to be on this pick up against the Renekton. Fnatic once again, they've got the timers, they got the first dragon, looks like they're going to get the second. Araneae once again going to try and come in. He's going to throw that kick out. Will the Whimsy go back on towards him? This time he's going to come in. Smite not going to land. He has to flash out.
Yeah, it did need to get away cleanly from that one. He actually had a ward available, so if he'd been a little bit more in time, he could have potentially just, you know, placed a ward down and dashed out. Nevertheless, still ineffectual for the second attempt.
Smite was used at the exact same moment between the two junglers, so that was just simply a Smite fight, and I think Cyanide realized the damage potential that Araneae was going to be a little bit later.
Millennium need multiple kills, or they need a tower now. They are falling too far behind in gold. It's climbing to 3,200 right now, and yes, they have the potential to pick up kills with this Yasuo, but if Fnatic get 5, 6, 7,000 gold ahead, then it's going to become impossible because they're just too far out of reach for your assassin to work. We talked about how Peke is maybe not impressing on LeBlanc right now, but it is because it's Araneae's ganks that are shutting him down. So I'd like to see the first real fight with multiple members of each team before we completely write off LeBlanc.
Well, it's an 800 gold differential in that top lane between the Renekton of sOAZ and Kevin. sOAZ did a great job in a 3v1 early on in the game, and he's probably faces Kevin, I guess, in a solo queue before, kind of knows what he's expecting, but doesn't seem too flustered by it.
Well, we'll see how it works out for the time being, because this tank Gragas, it's something that Deficio knew about. Deficio was super kind enough to tell me about it, so I could tell you guys about it. And it's working out exactly as predicted. Kevin is playing it in scrims. It's something that I'm almost 100% sure all of the pros will be aware of, or maybe even seen multiple times. And I like the theory behind it. You know, he's got a built-in damage reduction. He's got, you know, a damage amplification steroid on his auto attacks, and his ultimate is on a very low cooldown. So in theory, it should work, but he has been crippled quite severely in the early game, and it's going to take Millennium time to build him up to a point where they want to fight.
Okay, again, just dodging out Araneae, trying to get in to get that gank, trying to help out Kerp in that mid lane, get him rolling. He's already got that Static Shiv and Vampiric Scepter. Infinity Edge may well be next. It seems to be the standard build. We'll see if it works out. One thing that has impressed me is that while Fnatic took down those 2 early turrets, not a great deal else has happened in terms of turret pushing.
sOAZ is going to be in trouble right now as 3 members of Millennium are starting to close him in. He has his Slice and Dice and Flash available, and here come Araneae and Kerp.
The kit comes across, he gets launched straight back across there, and he goes straight into the path of Araneae. It's going to be Kerp that they'll give it to. No, it's Araneae that took it.
They're going to lose the tower though, so yes, that was a great coordinated kill. However, 4 members of Fnatic are sitting in the mid lane. They've got the tower, they're going to back away. There's not many ultimates available for Millennium.
Oh, they've landed the kick. Will the Lee Syndrome set in? He goes for it, doesn't really find his target. It's Cyanide that goes in. Wild Growth pops him up. Peke gets in there, doesn't manage to burst down Araneae. Gets the leash on Kerp. Kerp will go down. That's going to be a kill for Rekkles. He's going to continue that KDA stomp. And now without tower, they can continue chasing.
Yeah, Fnatic are going to just keep them on. Great bubble!
What a fantastic bubble coming out of Jree there. That's going to stop Peke in his tracks, and it gives Creaton a kill.
Jree landing the perfect Aqua Prism. poison, preventing xPeke's LeBlanc from getting involved. We have seen our first team fight. LeBlanc, no, stop picking her, people. It's not working. The one thing that I think Fnatic could have done even better in that fight is Cyanide used his Assault and Battery to stop Araneae. He should have known that Dragon's Rage had been used in the top lane, and I think if he had stuck to Kerp or to Creaton, maybe killing one of the carries could have allowed Fnatic to do even more with that fight. But I'm just nitpicking a little bit, as they did win the bigger engage, and unfortunately Peke got a little greedy.
Yeah, I mean, that may well simply go down to the communication of sOAZ. sOAZ didn't maybe put across that that ultimate had been used while they were focusing on the middle turret. You know, all the best teams, they need clean communication, and this may be a sign that it's not quite as crisp as we make out for Fnatic. Araneae taking that red buff away. We'll see how it works out. He did get that kill, remember, on sOAZ up in that top lane, which takes him to that 1-0-2. We are seeing potentially Infinity Head starting out by Kerp here with that
I think
dagger.
Rekkles is in trouble here. There's a lot of bursts that can come from Kerp.
Oh, this could be his first death. We'll see whether it works out. Kerp's going to get on static shift used. YellOwStaR is there to save the day.
Yeah, very smart play by Kerp to not dive. I think had I been in Kerp's shoes, the title of killing Rekkles for the first time would have baited me into tower diving. And I think controlled play from Kerp and Araneae was the smart move. What we are seeing, though, is after 20 minutes of gameplay, Araneae is ganking with Kerp. That's the 4th or 5th time he's moved to Kerp's lane this entire game, and I'm expecting it to continue because of the synergy that the two champions have. Allow Kerp to deal the big burst, and then if it doesn't kill the person, the Sonic Wave Resonating Strike combo from Lee Sin can then close it out.
Blue buff gets picked up by Peke. Araneae just being forced away by Rekkles. He's trying to get in on those walls to see if he forces the smite here, because the dragon is up in a minute. So he doesn't want to waste that spell. Creaton almost dived upon by Peke, but Kerp is churning down that tower. So that's the first tower for Millennium.
So well played by Millennium to pick up their first big objective. With Dragon spawning in a minute, it allows them to set up vision around the Dragon pit just a little bit safer, and makes Fnatic challenging for Dragon if they want to, just a little bit more riskier. So I really like this play. What I think Millennium should probably do is group in the mid lane, and if Fnatic go for Dragon, Millennium go for the tower. Or if they have a good positional advantage, they can pick a fight. But I think forcing Fnatic to choose one or the other is the way that Millennium should play it.
So we'll see whether Peke's blue buff, now with the Deathfire Grasp, is enough to drop someone, because that's what he's missing right now. He's not been able to get going. He's not been able to snowball because he's been bullied, because he's been picked on by this man right here, Kerp, who now has gone for the chain vest.
Yeah, so he's going to get a little bit more defensive statistics. You could even go for something like an Atma's Impaler and then build some HP. Considering his passive doubles the critical hit chance, it actually gives you more gold efficiency from an item like that. But I really want to see where it goes to. After all the talk of the dragon, it did force Fnatic to pick. They weren't in position to defend, and they want to try barrel mid.
And that's the first dragon picked up by Millennium. Now Peke is going to have to exit stage left here, because he's going to get forced on by the rest of Millennium as they come piling across. Kevin and Araneae giving chase. sOAZ may well be the target. We see Kerp going in there, goes aggressive. sOAZ goes away. That's going to be the kick on Rekkles. Will they get the first kill on Rekkles? Yes, they will. Kevin's the man that takes it. Explosive cast comes in. Cyanide may well be next. sOAZ, that big tanky Dominion, is trying to run out, but he's in trouble as well. Millennium closing the gap here. Get the knock him up in the air. There's not going to be enough. Last breath's already been used. YellOwStaR the focus now. He hasn't died either. Can they just close out that one? You bet your life they can. It's Creaton that gets it. And the myth, the legend of the duo lane Rekkles YellOwStaR has died against Millennium.
Officially dethroning that lead. Great play by Millennium. And the thing that I love the most, Kerp initiates onto sOAZ, places the wind wall right in the choke zone coming from there. Look at this wind wall. If anybody from Fnatic throws anything that way, it's not going to work. The last breath from Yasuo, not necessarily 100% ideal. It didn't hit multiple targets. But because they killed Rekkles, the AD carry of Fnatic, the rest of the team just stuck together, and a very, very smart play by Kevin. He picks the next target they should focus, not who the damage dealers are. Shuts down YellOwStaR, and he is still playing that tank Rekkles. No ability points placed into that barrel roll yet. Full points in W, full points in E.
And no ability power picked up either, because there's not a single item on the board. He's going for the Spirit Visage now, so he doesn't care about ability power right now. Going full tank, and the explosive cask worked there, and it seems to be working out well, working wonders against sOAZ, who seemed a little helpless in that fight.
Yeah, sOAZ unfortunately can't offer a lot of interruption. Had he been playing a Shyvana, you can disperse the team. You can knock multiple people away. Renekton is great in the smaller skirmishes, the 3v3s, the 4v4s, where he's got a single target stun. He does quite a lot of AoE damage once his ultimate's running, but that's really it. There's not a lot of threat to the rest of the Millennium team. And unfortunately, because sOAZ couldn't jump onto Creaton's Lucian or similar, it didn't do much. So this is one of the shortcomings of not playing one of those champions that is probably a little bit stronger right now.
So Creaton now the unkillable at the moment. 2-0-1 in this one. Trinity Force, he's complete along with that Bloodthirster up against the Bloodthirster Static Shiv and the beginnings of a Last Whisper for Rekkles. So AD carries in terms of victory. It is all on Creaton now, and we said, can Creaton and Jree face up against that bottom lane? They've done it, and it seems to be working wonders. Where do they go from here?
Millennium need to get more towers. They've got one outer tower still standing in the top lane. They've pulled back that gold lead now to only 1,000 between the two teams. And I think with Millennium's team fight strength, really, they actually have a better 5v5. Fnatic have the ability to single somebody out and kill them. Assault and Battery plus LeBlanc plus Ace in the hole can be a dead person. But only if Wind Wall's not available and only if they don't get dispersed by the Gragas barrel. So I think Millennium should be roaming as a 5-man, looking for those hard fights. Oh, Rekkles is in trouble.
Rekkles is going to get aggressed upon. It's not going to be explosive cast use. Yes, it is. It actually blew in an odd direction. The kick follows through. Rekkles in trouble. He's on the tower. It doesn't matter. And he's just going to get dropped once again. The stats are falling.
Kevin playing tank Gragas. I seen him under the tower. I'm like, oh, this is going to be bad. Gragas is going to... Oh, wait. He tanked the tower the entire time because he's got a Sunfire Cape and a Spirit Visage there. The Spirit Visage is going to help his passive heal as well. So he's already back up to full HP, and this could be the third tower of the game for Millennium.
And remember, as Rated pointed out, that explosive cast comes available very quickly. He hasn't really got a great deal of cooldown, only the Spirit Visage giving it in a moment, but it is starting to get there. He is going to get locked out by a little bit by Peke, but with the magic resist that he got, with that big tank, it's not a problem for him. And Fnatic, look at this, they're trying to go aggressive, and Araneae just walks away. They're going to continue chasing. Peke's nearly out of mana.
Yeah, Kevin's in trouble.
Battery goes down on Kevin. Kevin is just going to slide away. No, there's going to be the Wild Growth will pop off, and that should be the kill on Kevin, but look how much it took to take him down.
Yeah, that's just massive damage reduction from his Drunken Rage. Forces Fnatic to put a lot more focus on him. But we talked about how Renekton is better in those 3v3s, the smaller skirmishes, and that's exactly what Fnatic got. They got a situation where their composition was better. Fnatic, now looking at Baron, they've killed the pink ward. They may try to bait Millennium in. Look at Kerp's positioning. They're killing all of the wards, and they haven't started Baron. This is a bait. They're trying to pull Millennium towards them to pick another fight, and Millennium are falling for it.
I'm not sure if they will. Creaton should be able to dash away from this one. Takes a shot from Rekkles. That is a lot of damage on him already. He realizes he's in trouble and he's going to run away. He is dead. He's going to ace in the hole. Going to come in. Who will get the killing blow? It's going to be Cyanide. Oh no, Rekkles.
Yeah, Rekkles manages to land that last auto attack. I'm not sure why Kerp decided to go right when he could have stuck with the rest of his team, dashed himself through the wall and stuck with his team. But Kerp, unbeknownst to the rest of Fnatic, he's now pushing down the mid lane, trying to get some damage, and doing pretty well as far as the split push is concerned.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of damage. Now he's going to riddle himself across, take that blue buff, then he's got a giant wave on the bottom, keep that farm flowing, and it is working out well for him. Cyanide's going to come around and interrupt this one, though, with that smite, should stop him.
And of course, with the flow passive of Yasuo, makes it even more effective. Unknown double entendre. Well played, sir. Right now, Fnatic gonna secure themselves blue buff. Gonna steal this one away. Take this one without any contest at all. Millennium will have the timer for Dragon. They picked up the previous one without any battle with Fnatic. And you can see with Kevin being near the mid lane, Millennium are ready for this. They're going to start moving towards the Dragon Pit. Kerp should be able to get there in time. And this could be another fight, which I think probably favors Millennium. I prefer their 5v5 options and the dispersion power of that Gragas.
Yeah, so Dragon was picked up by Millennium. 2 of them being picked up by Fnatic. Who will claim the next one? Millennium in position. We do see sOAZ and Kevin butting heads in that mid lane. Kerp's going to come around the side. Whimsy is available if he tries to go for him. Instead, I think Millennium might pick this one up before they get close. Yes, they will. And now sOAZ goes a little bit too deep. Dominus Blade popped. Will they just lock him out, or will Millennium try and run? Assault Battery on Kerp, that immediately gets countered by Jree's wave. And sOAZ trying to tank up all that damage. Coming around the backside is Kevin. He's going to get on towards Cyanide. Kerp is running for his life from sOAZ. That is going to be one down Araneae. Kerp's going to keep on running. sOAZ needs to turn around, take on the rest of the team. He flashes through. Let's not look at Kerp, let's look at these, because Jree is going to be in trouble. He's going to get stunned up. No, flashes away. sOAZ is a beast that they are all running from.
You're very well played by Fnatic. I talked about the single target ability, and that's what they did. They focused Kerp down. This time around, Cyanide focused the right guy. It's not over yet, as Fnatic are on the turret. Kerp is still trying to split push, and Fnatic secure the tower, but with a little bit of damage at Kerp, maybe could do the same.
I think Millennium might keep chasing here, try and force them to not back away as quickly as possible. That's what Kevin's doing, because Kerp is taking down his mid-inner turret, which honestly, I find is more valuable. No, he's backing away. That's a little lady. He's just realized it. He's had the call from Kevin. He's like, they're in here. I'm going to throw the barrel. Doesn't quite interrupt him, but it's going to be the turret going down nevertheless. Millennium counter again.
Trading tower for tower, but Millennium got the dragon, and they only lost one member of their team during the course of that fight. So I think overall net gain for Millennium. We're still sitting at 4 towers apiece for both of these teams. But what you've seen from Fnatic is when they stick together as a 5-man team, they shove down the lane or the river, and they stick to one guy and one person that's important, in this case, Kerp. The Assault and Battery plus Renekton is enough to keep him out the fight. Final Breath wasn't even used. There was not enough times for those knockups. This is exactly the point I'd like to highlight here. Look at Kerp. He's been completely focused by Fnatic. sOAZ has shoved him out of the fight, and Kevin needed to use that explosive cost defensively. He had to knock members of Fnatic away. And unfortunately, because Millennium were a little bit split up as the full 5-man, they just got pushed all the way back. And all credit to sOAZ just really being a threat on that front line.
So, gold is even between the two teams. Just a slight gain by Fnatic over the last few seconds has put them that 400 gold advantage. But honestly, when it's talking 43,000 between the two teams, that really isn't a great deal. 30-minute mark about to be hit here. Millennium have had some long games already up against SK Gaming. It was a 50-minute epic. They did finally close it out, but it took them a long time. What are we seeing now? We're in the 30-minute mark. Big late game items starting to come on the board. So 2 things that we're seeing. First of all, sOAZ picking himself up a Thornmail, as well as that Infinity Edge being completed for Kerp. So with Infinity Edge and Static Shiv, he's actually got 90% crit chance because of his passive. It doubles it. So very nice itemization. There's a lot of damage that can come down. And I want to play a little bit of devil's advocate and say, if you think about the Dragons fight, sOAZ was doing great with Renekton chasing down. Imagine if it was a Shyvana. Imagine if he had Burnout available. He maybe could have killed Kerp, which would have prevented the mid tower going down. Maybe could have stuck to the, sticking the bottom lane. So just thoughts whether or not Shyvana could have done more. But right now, pretty good position for Fnatic. Building up a lot of armor. Randy and Zoma completed for Cyanide makes Millennium's life much more difficult for the impending siege and fight. Well, the siege is coming. The barrels are finally rolling out from Kevin. Not any ability power still being picked up by him. He has got the blue barrel buff, though, for that explosive cast to keep it chugging. You can see 3,500 hit points on Kevin right now on that big tanky Gragas. Fnatic looking to see if they can get any pokes, see if they can get anything onto the likes of Jree, Creaton, or Kerp. Because Kerp, remember, despite the fact having crazy damage, is a glass cannon. Yeah, that's the case. He's got a tiny bit of armor to survive Caitlyn's damage, but that's it right now. And if a good last breath can be used on xPeke, Rekkles, or YellOwStaR, that's how Millennium can win a fight. They need to get past sOAZ and Cyanide. Once they get past them, damage the back line, and then Millennium can win. xPeke is going to go down towards that bottom wave. The moment he shows himself, he realizes it's going to be a 4v5 situation. There's nothing for him to do to get back into it. sOAZ just baiting them out here, using the taunt, lying on the floor with that Renekton. Knows he's the tankiest member. The wave strictly quickly going down as well. They're going to push in for this one. Who are they going to go for? That's the question. Is it just going to be simply the turret they hit? No, there goes the wave. They can jump on towards YellOwStaR. That last breath is not going to quite be enough to take him down. You can see YellOwStaR will get dropped. Kerp is going to go down as well, so it's a 1-for-1. And now xPeke has joined the fray. They're going to chase him on down here. Barrels coming out. Everything they can do to slow him. The culling comes back on towards sOAZ, but as you see, it does nothing. Ace in the hole, Vantage finds his target. Rekkles takes that one down, but that's going to put him out the rest of the fight. sOAZ comes in, gets the stun on Creaton. Kevin now, he's going to be the focus target. You can see he's got so much hit points. He just keeps on tanking away. He's going to have the belly dash once again, and Kevin finally will go down. It's Rekkles that gets him. It was a long fight, but it was a 3-for-1 for Millennium. Yeah, at the end of the day, against Millennium. Fnatic ending up coming away with the victory because Millennium committed so much to killing a support. And once YellOwStaR threw that wild growth on himself, as you're about to see, gets caught out, wild growth up, and the rest of Millennium just simply spent too much time killing
you know, YellOwStaR, Creaton only now starts dealing some damage to the tanks. And we talked about how there's no magic damage on the side of Millennium right now, so all of that armor on sOAZ and on Cyanide is making that front line impossible to deal with. Creaton's Lucian, Araneae's Lee Sin, and Kerp's Yasuo are going to have to buy a lot of armor penetration, maybe even something like a Black Cleaver to shred the armor and make it even more effective for the rest of the team.
And that was the final kill. 4-2-3 now for Rekkles, 3-1-1 for Creaton. The AD carry is starting to get involved as the game starts progressing later and later. Fnatic in position for this Dragon. I'm not sure Millennium are going to be able to compete.
No, I don't think Millennium really can. They have a lot of members present though, so if they wanted to all in, they probably could, but I think wisely decide against it. sOAZ goes a little bit forward, even manages to sneak out there, not even burning a summoner spell. You know, such great play from sOAZ on Renekton with that slice and dice.
Belly dash straight into a Caitlyn trap. You're not going to get away from that one. Banshee's Veil was picked up by Araneae, by the way, in there. I need to question the last breath that the Kerp used early on in that fight, because he seemed to go a little too early, and like you said, the wild growth just popped him straight out of it.
Yeah, the problem with that ability usage is you have to put it on Rekkles. Yeah, you can kill Lulu, but that's going to be a little bit of a slow as Kerp's been caught.
Cyanide goes in, there is the wild growth popping all of them up. This is going to be a wild fight, and it's Fnatic actually coming out the worst right now. Peke does get himself a kill. Kevin's tanking up that damage. Peke is going to be the fighter's target. Kevin taken so low, but they don't care because Peke is down. Cyanide's now going to be the focus. sOAZ is doing what he can. Can he get onto Creaton? No, the barrier goes back out, and now the AD carry is just working down those hit points from the backside. He's going to throw out the barrel. Creaton, well, he gets on towards him. sOAZ with the slice, the dice, and the destruction derby. They may turn this fight on his head. Kevin going to run away. The Aqua Prison keeps him there, and that's going to buy them time to get away. Fnatic, wow, they may have lost 3-on-2, but that was great play from sOAZ.
And that was Millennium's picking that battle. Millennium got onto Rekkles. As soon as Rekkles was down, they were so confident in their positioning, but the immense amount of armor between sOAZ and Cyanide just finishes it out. Look at Millennium's positioning right now. They're anticipating a fight. They're grouped up nicely, and yes, Cyanide got a very good engage onto Kerp. It didn't actually kill him. It didn't take him down. So I like the targeting by Kerp to finish off Rekkles, and I think they have to keep doing that. But the rest of this fight is just a case of a Thornmail, Radiant's Omen, and an immense amount of HP on that Cyanide and sOAZ. He's still sitting at 2,500 hit points here, as sOAZ just takes forever to be killed by all this physical damage.
Yeah, they seem to be lacking something to just burst it. Of course, maybe, with Kevin with so tanky, now it's time to get some ability power on that Gragas. Starts becoming a bit of a threat himself. We'll see how that goes, because right now you see Radiant's Omen, Spirit Visage, Sunfire Cape, and then Ninja Tabby not assigned with a new Chain Vest coming out. That's going to be a Thornmail.
Yeah, I think Kevin has to pick up ability power at some point. His final item has to be something that's going to give them some form of burst, because, you know, and you know what? Let me be honest about this. Even if he does, it's not going to be enough. You know, the respective health pools here. sOAZ is sitting at 3,200 HP, and Cyanide is 3,300 hit points. So even if he picks up a measly 150 or 200 AP, his damage on his barrels are only going to be, you know, 500-600 at max. So it's not going to be enough to shred through it.
But let's take a look at this, because those last fights were close. They were close encounters. Kerp diving on towards Rekkles. He now has a Guardian Angel. That could be the turn of the tide.
Well, GA will help out Kerp to at least assist in the killing of Cyanide and sOAZ, but it's still going to take a very long time. The critical hit strikes are going to be helpful, but there's no armor penetration as Araneae is the next target.
Araneae is in trouble. That's going to be the Assault Battery, and honestly, it's not really what they wanted. Quickly going straight in there. Look at Peke. He's getting dropped, melted down there. YellOwStaR, the next focus target. He gets dropped. Cyanide is going to try and dash away from this one. He has to run for his life. Rekkles has got away at the top there. Is he going to be safe? I think he should be. Jree's going to go the Aqua Prism any second now. Cyanide running away. Creaton should be able to have one last dash to get on towards him. Instead, he backs away. They should just go for Baron.
That was the perfect engage from Millennium. The Gragas barrel into a 3-man final breath allows Kerp to just shred through them. Now, Fnatic challenging for Baron. It's going low, and I think Millennium wise to back away.
It is wise to back away. sOAZ doing what he can to keep him off. And Millennium may well have won that fight, but again, they don't quite have enough to siege the Baron.
No, they don't have enough to siege Baron, and I think Kerp needs armor penetration now. He can't be relying only on that bonus armor pen from his ultimate. I'd like to see a Last Whisper picked up. Thank you for this replay, because there, look at that. 1, 2, 3 members knocked up into the air and then held in the air by Yasuo's final breath. It allows YellOwStaR and xPeke to just get focused down very, very quickly. A little bit of a chase from Millennium here to pick up their third and final kill of the fight, and I think if sOAZ wasn't as big and scary, that probably could have been a Baron. But since then, he's now got a Radiant's Omen as well. Plus the Sun 5k, plus the Thorn Mail. Physical armor, physical damage is not going to be worrying sOAZ.
Okay, so let's see how this goes for the rest of the team. Millennium now going back down towards that bottom lane, keeping that wave clear going. He's going to try and push it out. They need to push the top wave as well, but no, from Millennium dares go dealt there at the moment on their own, because his sOAZ in his speed is just charging on through the minions. They know that Peke can burst anyone down, and Fnatic have proven many, many times in the past they can be waiting in any bush.
What we have been seeing, though, over the last sort of 15 minutes of gameplay, no towers have actually dropped. Since that last Dragon fight where they traded the mid inner and bottom inner turret, no one's been able to get to a tower, and it's just been these skirmishes around the red buff, and a lot of emphasis being placed on Baron. We do see Kerp in a little bit of trouble. He should be able to get away. Maybe not.
There's a lot of bursts coming down. That's going to be the Guardian Angel pops. The rest of the team have to close the gap here, or they're going to lose him out there. Kevin failed flash. Oh no, he failed again. He didn't quite get in. He tried to just body slam across, but he didn't get there in time. Now he's got flash available. You can see Rekkles and Creaton, they're going for it. But it is Kerp that's been dropped. The Guardian Angel down. That is a useless item for the next few minutes.
Yeah, that was a comedy of errors there. First of all, Cyanide, he hit the wall with his Vault Breaker, was unable to get that Assaulter battery initially on Kerp. Luckily, sOAZ was close enough to zone him out, control him, and then unfortunately for Kerp, his wind wall came late, so he was rooted in place by Peke. Fnatic then pick up the kill, allow them to pick up now the 5th tower of the game, and they're going to get control with a Dragon, as well as most likely warding out this half of the map.
A tight game, certainly the closest the Fnatic have had to face so far in this spring LCS split. They're 3-0, remember, in the league. Millennium pushing them all the way here. They're only 1 and 2 themselves. And, you know, it was Fnatic that was saying all along that Millennium are a tough matchup. And it seems there's something that's happened between these two while doing practices that has really given Fnatic problems, and we think we're seeing it right here.
Well, right now, Millennium are going to try themselves getting this Baron. Fnatic are responding quickly, but Rekkles is miles away. Baron is down to about half health. Once sOAZ gets involved, this is where it becomes very scary. Millennium appealing.
Remember, Cyanide, he smoted it before, but when they're really aware of that one, they don't want to fall for the problem that Alliance had, and Cyanide is keeping that Baron alive. Now it's regenning.
Yeah, we do see Kerp has now rejoined the fight, as has Rekkles. Rekkles just stopped to push in that mid wave. Now, Peke is a little bit away. If Millennium could get in onto Fnatic, that would have been the time to fight, but unfortunately, they weren't able to find that opportunity, and everybody gets away without any kills being registered for either team.
So, let's take a little breather here, Trevor, because there's a lot of items that have been picked up across the board. Everybody's starting to reach their final build phases. We're also starting to see Araneae's Omen being picked up by YellOwStaR.
That's 3 Radiant's Omens. And you know, because of the physical damage from Millennium and the lack of ability power threat of Kevin's Gragas, that is a great pickup. When you consider the towers, the dragons, the gold, etc., it's definitely working in their favor. And we even see sOAZ going towards a Blade of the Ruined King right now with that cutlass in his back pocket. Also interesting to note, the Alacrity boots have been picked up by Rekkles as his sort of tier 3 upgrade. He wants the mobility, wants to be able to run away from the barrels and sort of kite that Lee Sin and Yasuo combo that want to dive him.
Yeah, and the Warden's Mail makes perfect sense because anyone hits him, they get slowed, and he just runs away, or 90 caliber nets away as quick as he can. sOAZ, again, like you said, that giant tanky beast, he's been doing a fantastic job of getting in the faces of Millennium and causing them umpteen problems. And so far, it seems that Fnatic now have Millennium on the back foot.
What I really like about Fnatic, the way they've played this game, realizing that their opponents have such a massive amount of physical damage threat, they pushed towers down early and forced Millennium to slow their gameplay down. And what that allowed Fnatic to do is build up this massive armor reserve. We're going to see a 4th Radiant's Omen on Rekkles once he eventually upgrades that Warden's Mail. And I think it's very good decision-making with their composition. You know, realizing that that roaming threat of Araneae and Kerp could have snowballed out of control, but they only got 2 kills in 20 minutes, and it wasn't enough to accelerate Millennium ahead.
Fnatic, I feel, are fancying a fight. Peke's just backed off. He'd literally only just been back to base a moment ago. Now he's gone to get that Brilliance pot. He's going to pick up this blue buff, and I think they're going to maybe try and force sneak around that Baron. There goes 5,000 gold advantage in Fnatic's favor so far. The towers, you can see, it's just 5-4 apiece. Very tight game. This fight could hinge on the entire game.
Yeah, I think this fight could determine who loses an inhibitor or who loses Baron. And very crucially, Kerp has still not completed his last Whisper. Kerp still does not have any inherent armor penetration to get through the massive amount of armor that Fnatic have been able to put together. sOAZ, with his lifesteal, auto attacks, and massive HP pool, is now starting this Baron off. There is a ward revealing Rekkles, so Millennium are aware of it. They can see Rekkles just for a second. Maybe they can't.
No, they can't see it. They can't see it. He's actually out of it. That was just simply the spectator bug that you can see the shots coming across. Yep. And Fnatic just snuck it.
Completely snuck it. Completely snuck it. Unable to react to that one, and I think Fnatic, just great play. Using the range of Creaton is something we have seen a couple of times in the past, and you know, unfortunate for Millennium, they had a ward there, but it was too close to the wall. It wasn't deep enough to reveal Rekkles' auto attacks.
Making full use of Caitlyn's range there, working out wonders, because I don't believe Lucian can do that from that side.
No, he doesn't have the range.
Yeah.
Caitlyn's the only auto attack carry. Well, as long as Tristana can do it, as well as Jinx, actually. I'd take that back. There's a few that can do it. The one thing that was smart about it, the decision to go for the sneaky Baron, was because they knew that Kerp and Creaton, they had just been in the mid lane, and Kerp he didn't have his last Whisper. And I was talking about how crucial that item was going to be for a team fight. So Fnatic making a calculated call. We think Kerp is backed off to pick up that last Whisper, so let's try and rush Baron down, because even if they, do challenge, most likely Kerp's not going to be there, and it ends up working out for them.
It worked wonders for them, and now it's going to be Fnatic on the push. Top inner turret, is going to be the focus. Rekkles is already going to go up and clear that wave in the top lane, shove it on down in towards Millennium, and Millennium have struggled. It's been close team fights between them, but now with Kevin down the bottom, no teleports available, he's going to have to move very quickly the moment they show up in that top.
If Millennium try to go for a 4-man defense, they have to kill Rekkles and xPeke instantly and then force Fnatic to back away. Kevin is recalling he doesn't have home guard boots just yet. He'll need to buy those most likely and try get to lane. sOAZ just laying on the floor with all of that armor. He's not even being dented by that tower, and Millennium unable to challenge.
So Fnatic with the Baron continue to drive on through. Now 6-4 in favor of the turrets there. Araneae trying to bait something out. The slash is coming through. sOAZ getting poked, but again, he's still got a 2,000 hit point buffer.
Yeah, with the Infinity Edge and Last Whisper, there's actually a little bit of damage being dealt to sOAZ. So if they can kill the squishies and then focus down sOAZ and Cyanide single-handedly, I now think Millennium have enough damage to deal with them. But it would have to be a picture-perfect fight, like we seen around the red buff about 20 minutes ago, where they killed Rekkles and they were trying to kill the tanks of sOAZ and Cyanide.
Rekkles backing off, xPeke backing off. They're going to go buy some more items. sOAZ is just going to clear out that middle wave and keep it shoving forward. Let's see what they've gone with. I think it's just potions once again they picked up. And
Randuin's Omen has been completed for Rekkles. That is number 4 now on the side of Fnatic. In addition to that, there's a Glacial Shroud sitting in the hands of Cyanide.
Yeah.
So once that eventually becomes what I believe is going to become a Frozen Heart, you're even going to be reducing the attack speed of Lee Sin, Yasuo, and Creaton. Fnatic, realizing and having this immense lead, Millennium unable to challenge, they lose another dragon, and Fnatic grows this lead to just shy of 10,000 gold.
And it's interesting because this is something we talked about right at the start. Once those picks and bans went in, we're like, they don't have much magic ability, if any at all. Because Kevin, while you're saying, yeah, Gragas is there, but he's not using that ability power.
No, definitely not. And, the composition of Millenniums was an early game comp. Lee Sin is an early game champion. Yasuo, we haven't seen him scale too many. Haven't seen him too many games, so we can't talk about how well he scales
many
big
games.
things. But that's a very high kill combo team, and unfortunately for Millennium, they didn't pick up enough kills. They didn't pick up enough towers early on to make Fnatic fall behind and make them struggle to buy armor. Right now, Millennium going to try to defend this 5-man push of Fnatic. Baron is slowly wearing off. I think it won't have much time left on it. It's just about to wear out. Fnatic now trying to pick a battle under this inhibitor tower.
sOAZ tanks a chunk of damage. That shield coming out from YellOwStaR, plenty enough to stop the tower damage going through. He's just going to walk on through there again. You can see, though, this is what you talked about, the Infinity Edge. That was a good chunk of damage taken off sOAZ.
Yeah, but that was Kerp Creaton and Araneae landing some poke, plus a turret shot went in there as well. So I think what this means is Fnatic realizing, yes, they are incredibly strong, but they can't just win any fight at all. Millennium, they want to go in. They're looking for a situation where a last breath can knock up the squishies. But look at Rekkles and xPeke. They are sitting opposite sides of the lane. As long as they don't group up, I don't know if Millennium can get the perfect engage.
Because the Baron buff just wore off, the moment it did, Millennium stepped forward. They are looking for this one. Araneae once again throwing out the kick, trying to land it on xPeke, trying to find one of those big, juicy carries. But instead, it's not going to happen. Look at the top, look at the middle. Those waves are being pushed out by Millennium. They're going to shove the bottom lane on, and they may well try and put some pressure back onto Fnatic.
sOAZ is waiting. Fnatic, they're going to do a death push. Creaton is trying to sneak into position. The rest of Fnatic are once again moving in. Millennium are so smart to back away because they had no vision. They did not move past their line of wards, and I think that is a very, very good play. If they'd stepped one, iota further, sOAZ would have stunned them, and the rest of Fnatic would have piled on through.
What measurement is an iota,
I'm not sure, but it sounded really good.
Wasn't sure on the measurement. Look at xPeke, he's still waiting in the bush, but Jree and Creaton like, no.
Do not want.
No, we've played Fnatic before. We know where this goes.
Jree could die. xPeke very wisely backs away. I think as soon as you realize that there was the potential of being surrounded, Araneae can try chase him, but I think xPeke, that's Banshee's well down.
Oh,
very good flash.
Forces the flash out, and that's going to be, can go across towards one of the minions. No, he's not going to. Instead, Kerp's going to continue chasing here, but the rest of the team will close in. Does put the ward down, but immediately gets leashed. That was stopping in his tracks.
Millennium need to keep going. sOAZ is top lane. The time it'll take him to get from there to the bottom in a turret would have allowed Millennium to challenge for it. At the very least, they could have picked up that tower. Instead, they're putting a bit more priority on blue buff, denying that to xPeke's LeBlanc. And I actually think that was picked up by Creaton, if I noticed correctly. So trying to get his maybe culling a little bit lower on cooldown, spamming out those piercing lines to defend under the tower. And Fnatic, even though they've got a 10,000 gold lead, they're not super confident about diving. They don't want to pick a fight they're not comfortable with.
sOAZ is still pushing the bottom lane, top lane, sorry, so Millennium are just going to shove on through. Nobody from Fnatic has responded to this one. This is a tower for Millennium.
Yeah, it took a little bit longer than I think Millennium were anticipating, but they will pick this one up completely uncontested. Fnatic way out of position for that one. And I think with Baron respawning in about 20 or 30 seconds, if Millennium can play the map correctly, they may actually be able to stick around, either challenge for Baron, or maybe even go for an inhibitor.
This is going to be tense. We're up to 50 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. It is a 9,000 gold lead, just shy of 10,000 for Fnatic, but that doesn't really show because it's 70,000 to 80,000 right now. You see Araneae coming in there, doesn't want to get caught out with that Banshee's Veil though. It will give him that slight defensive start on Fnatic, but the Fnatic have the positional advantage for the Baron.
Yeah, one thing to highlight right now is Rekkles has sold his boots and gone for that Zephyr, which we see AD carries doing all so often. The two-mana Fnatic has enough damage and survivability to pick this Baron up, and Millennium are still not fighting. Baron will be secured, and xPeke is just running interference. Millennium are responding to this way too late, and now they're going in.
They come in far too late, and Fnatic going to turn it on its head. Wild Growth popping them all up. They can see the wave just knocking them back. You can see Jree Kerp trying to get in there. Guardian Angels comes back up. Can he get on towards Rekkles? They're going to try and dive in there. No. Rekkles takes down Kerp. sOAZ has took all of the damage, all of the abuse from Millennium. The bubble will be enough to save the day. Creaton's going to run away from this one. Araneae should safeguard across to Jree in a moment. The culling just keeping them at bay, but this could be Fnatic's game right now. Ace in the hole blocked off by Jree.
Massive amount of damage. Kerp didn't even get to use last breath in that fight. Was locked up so well by Fnatic. Turned into a munchkin. They silenced him. They rooted him in place, and he wasn't able to have an impact in that fight. Now Fnatic, knowing they have a 5v3, they take the inhibitor down. They can finish the game right here.
40-second death timers for Millennium. They know they're in trouble. They're going to try and force them away, but Fnatic going straight for those Nexus turrets. Rekkles hitting it like a hammer right now, just charging it down. Creaton's going to come across. The minions are not going to be enough. He tries to use everything he can, but immediately gets locked up. Ace in the hole. Assault battery on towards him, just dropping the rest of Millennium, and Rekkles continues his killing spree, and that is going to be Fnatic taking the game against Millennium.
What a hard-fought battle after 52 minutes. Fnatic had to dig very, very deep. That is the hardest match that they have had all week long. Fnatic lock it down, going 4-0 in Super Week.
Well, it was the death of the Immortals in the bottom lane early on. 6-3-6 for Rekkles in the end, and 0-4-12 for YellOwStaR. Millennium certainly have given the toughest test that Fnatic have faced. but it is 4-0 now for Fnatic in this Super Week.
And Millennium, they go 1-3. This is their last game now for week 1. I think they can take a lot away from that game. They performed well. They had a few fights that were good. They feel like their early game presence needed work. I think they needed to be more aggressive with those champions, get more kills on Yasuo. Well played at the end of the day, and I think almost anticipating that Yasuo pick, the Lulu was in there, transform him into a Munchkin with that polymorph, and it worked very well. It's a good counter to Yasuo's engage.
And I'm not sure, I mean,